Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, guys, good morning. Today is very nice day and very bright day for us to do our activities. And for today's Indonesian English TV, is going to tell you or read about one news about Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, I read the news from the Wall Street Journal. So we have already displayed the dramatic situation in Ukraine, the war between Russia and Ukraine military. So now we will discuss about who is Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukraine's wartime president is a former TV star. Okay. After dancing with the stars and voicing Paddington, he now leads country's resistance to Russia's invasion. Okay, just reading the text as one of the news for you. That's this news was online on March 6, 2022, 2 days ago. Okay, now let's get started to read. President Volodymyr Zelensky has become the face of Ukraine's resistance against Russian President Vladimir Putin invading forces. But Mr. Zelensky came into power with little traditional political experiences. Before he was elected, he was best known for playing a television role as an ordinary school teacher accidentally catapulted into power. The show, Servant of the People, ran for 4 years, making him a household name. We know that the starting point for Mr. Zelensky as the star or TV stars has the program Servant of the People. So here his name is becoming a household name into every house in the Ukraine's citizens. They know the name. So let's move. Since the Russian strikes began on February 24th, Mr. Zelensky has captured the world's imagination, often dressing in ballistic vests as he urged people to press the fight during videos he posts on to Telegram, Facebook, and Instagram from the center of Kiev. At one time, the 44-year-old has harangued Western leaders to step up their sanctions against Mr. Putin, speaking regularly with figures such as US President Biden, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and French President Emmanuel Macron, and describing Russian missile strikes as terrorism. Actually, he tries to ask help from another countries by speaking with Mr. Biden and Boris Johnson and also Emmanuel Macron from the very big country if they want to help. But we do not know. Until now, there is no country that want to help to pledge the army against the Russians militarily. As the Russian onslaught intensifies, with air and missile strikes widening to hit more civilian targets, Mr. Zelensky knows that he is at the head of Kremlin's kill or capture list, but insists that neither he nor his family will live as he tries to keep his battered country together. He is also growing frustrated with the West's unwillingness to intervene militarily. On March 6, he again urged Western leaders to reconsider their decision against enforcing a no-fly zone over Ukraine. after saying Russian missiles had destroyed an airbase in Venetia in central UK. If you don't, at least give us planes so we can protect ourselves. There is only one thing to conclude. You want us to be killed very slowly, he said. Of course, Mr. Zelensky saying this very pessimistic sentence aims to the American president and also UK Prime Minister and also President of France, because they really need help in the kinds of military forces pledged to his country, when together with Ukraine's military fight with the Russian military. And of course, kind of hesitation of the country, European country and also American, they do not want to involve in the physical war with the Russian military. Okay, we move to the next. How long has Volodymyr Zelensky been president of Ukraine? Okay. Mr. Zelensky was elected president in 2019, defeating the incumbent Petro Poroshenko by casting himself as an anti-establishment outsider, bent on cleaning up corruption and securing better relations with Moscow. His speech was largely based on the role he played on his TV show, where he portrayed an ordinary man thrown into the presidency to clean up the country. Even his political party was named after the show. It is nice. This kind of very influenced people in his country. How has Zelensky handled this invasion? Early on, Mr. Zelensky directed much of his energy toward projecting a sense of calm as Russian forces steadily peeled along Ukraine's borders to eventually total as many as 190,000 troops. He said U.S. warnings of an imminent invasion was overblown and were damaging Ukraine's economy. Mr. Zelensky pointed to an even larger Russian build-up last spring that was eventually withdrawn. Okay, let's move. Reading the text. But after the first Russian strikes began to hit Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities on February 24, he pivoted hard toward shoring up Ukraine's defense, securing as much Western assistance as he could obtain, with Russian propaganda claiming he had already fled the country. He made a hand-shot video of him out on the street in front of the presidential palace in Kyiv to urge on Ukrainians in their defense on the country. It drew millions of views on Telegram. Mr. Zelensky spoke frequently with Western leaders, urging them to increase sanctions on Moscow in the hope of breaking the Russian advance. As he pleaded with European leaders in a video call to take together action, he warned them that this might be the last time they saw him alive, according to several diplomats. The silence in the room was impressive. A senior European Union official said shortly after the 27-nation bloc moved to significantly expand the range of measures as the West hardened its response to Moscow's aggression. identity and were viewed as outsiders. Some commentators have suggested this has informed Mr. Zelensky's own self-image as an outsider, reflected in both his TV work and his presidential campaign in 2019. Ukrainians appear more favorably disposed toward Jews and then do the people of other countries that were in the Soviet bloc. A Pew Research Center poll in 2019 found that 5% of Ukrainians were unwilling to accept Jewish people as fellow citizens, compared with 18% in Poland, 90% of Czech, and 22% in Romania. And Ukraine's Prime Minister, when Mr. Zelensky became president, Volodymyr Groysman, is also Jewish. When Mr. Putin said Russia's invasion was designed to denazify Ukraine's leadership, a potent slur in Russia, referring to World War II, Mr. Zelensky was quick to ridicule the Russian leader's claim. Okay, next, the last paragraphs, I will read this. What happened between Zelensky and Donald Trump? Shortly after becoming Ukraine's president, Mr. Zelensky was thrust into the center of U.S. politics after President Donald Trump was accused of pressuring him in a telephone call to investigate his chief rival at the time, Joe Biden. An impeachment resolution in the House of Representatives alleged that Mr. Trump had made the provision of $391 million in U.S. security aid contingents on Mr. Zelensky's publicly announcing a probe. After Mr. Trump's actions came to light, the resolution charges he released the aid, which was meant to strengthen Ukrainian forces in the eastern part of the country. Okay, I read all the text from the Wall Street Journals. Okay, take the better understanding of this text and we can discuss later. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for watching.